50 Shades of Grey was inspired by Twilight. It was initially a fan fiction called Master of the Universe that appeared online, and eventually the names were changed and it turned into 50 Shades Trilogy. But as someone who's researched a lot on Twilight and why it's had such a fan base, particularly a female fan base, and as someone who made a documentary, Twilight Haze, about it, how do you think that the phenomenon surrounding that relates to 50 Shades of Grey?
Well, I think that 50 Shades of Grey is kind of like the response to the sexual tension / foreplay that Twilight really was about. It's kind of like that instant gratification that you didn't get for 4 volumes, as Steven Snyder says, of foreplay in Twilight. You see a lot of the same thing. You see a girl who's klutzy and doesn't really have any experience with a guy who has lived 100 years, and then you have this guy, Christian Grey, who's just like Edward, kind of got this prototypical character, this sort of fantasy. It's this very masculine energy of I can, you know, control the situation, I have everything under control, I know what I'm doing, I'm confident, and yet can really truly feel very deeply and suffer and really experience deep feeling.
And I think another thing that they've been drawn to, which has been a little bit controversial, is the fact that he is so controlling and that Anastasia is willing to be his submissive. But that idea, for some, is sort of looked at as demeaning and degrading to women, yet others find it really alluring.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of perspectives on 50 Shades, but I will say that for a lot of professional women who are used to being in control and have so many responsibilities, have to handle so many things at once, the fantasy of just being able to let go and not have to control everything is kind of, I think, what's so appealing. And I kind of refer to this in my book, 50 Shades of Women's Desires, and in the documentary on Twilight. I refer to it as a paradoxical longing that women kind of have in 2013 of wanting, you know, really longing to have the equality that we've worked so hard to have, and be strong women and be respected and, you know, seen as equals, and respected as strong women, but at the same time to be able to have someone who can just kind of take control.
What do you think are some of the dangers of women reading something like Twilight or 50 Shades and thinking that their relationships should mirror that of the book or the film?
That there is this idea of a perfect romance, that things just come easily. It most certainly does not work that way. There's a lot of work to be done in a relationship, and a relationship, as we know, is sort of one's best mirror of themselves and their own, you know, journey of looking into themselves and looking at sort of what am I doing here? What is my role? What, you know, how can I grow through this relationship?